Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate, I can't think of a better way to start my day.
Such greetings from the northern forest up here, where I've spent my life. It's so wonderful to watch the work that y'all have been doing in the southern forest for so long with such appreciation.
You know, Bill, you're such a luminary in the climate movement. I've really watched you over your career and seeing the way that you have sparked a global grassroots movement focused on climate change. And, you know, the need to get off fossil fuels is at the forefront of the conversation about climate change globally. And I think you've been a big part of sparking that. From your perspective, how do you see the role of forests right now in the climate movement? And why do you think forests are so important?
The climate system is arguably the most important thing on Earth, the thing that gives us a place to live, the ability to grow our food, and preserving it is going to require getting all of our systems in something like functioning order. It's only, I think, in the last decade that the science has really reached the point where people are like, oh, I'm starting to see. It's not just the kind of, forests are the lungs of the planet thing that people have been talking about for a long time. It's become much more sophisticated and deeper than that. Forests are enormously important parts of the regulation of the atmosphere and the climate. Their role in taking in carbon and putting out oxygen is about as basic a role as you can
we learn in third grade, right?
But we also understand now that when you cut them down and burn them, you're adding grievous insult to grievous injury. You've not just removed an important sink for carbon, you've created an enormous source of vast amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere.
Why do you feel like we're in the right place at the right time to really begin to transition towards a more climate just world?
I feel like we're closer to action than any time I remember in the 30 some years that I've been working on this. People now can see the danger around them. It's not just people writing books to say what's going to happen. The horrible sight of huge forests on fire, of storms of a magnitude we haven't seen before crashing into our coasts. People are getting it. I mean, at a certain point, who are you going to believe? Fox News or your own lying eyes, The scientists and engineers have done their job, and they have dropped the price of renewable energy so quickly, so profoundly, that it changes the economic and hence the political landscape enormously. The cheapest way now to generate power around the world, power that people need for the things they do, is with the sun and the wind. That means that we have economic wind at our back. People from every corner have come together to build a vast movement, demanding action, demanding that their future be taken seriously. You can see it changing our politics in real time. I mean, we went through one presidential election after another with no one even asking a question about climate change at presidential debates until this time when Joe Biden has said it's going to define his presidency. That's because people went and shifted the politics around this. One of the things that's really, I think, really opens people's hearts and minds is this evolving understanding that, in fact, it's the oldest trees in the forest that are the most valuable in terms of protecting it. That, the longer you leave a tree standing, the more carbon it adds as it grows. It gets better and better at doing its job as time goes on.
Absolutely.
Dana, I remember sitting down years ago with the head of the Forest Service. It must have been in the Clinton years. And though I'd lived in the forest all my life, I was very struck when he said, the economic modeling we run on the forest indicates that by far their highest value isn't the value of the timber on them. It's the value of the water filtration that they're doing. If we cut down those forests and then had to pay for the job they do filtering water, we couldn't afford it, at all.
Yeah, and I think the other point that you're raising there is around the fact that everything seems to have come down to a dollar value, in terms of, decisions that we make. And, how do you put a dollar value on life? How do you put a dollar value on the living planet? You can't really.
Exactly right. It's beautifully put. How do you put a dollar value on the hoot owl in the evening?
Or a human life.
Absolutely.
In the case of these frontline communities that are on the edge of all the pollution and the ecological destruction.
But of course, that's where so much of the great organizing comes from around this country and around the world. It really is frontline communities that have been in the lead and making a difference place after place after place. And that's really, really powerful to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you did have a magic wand and you could change one thing right now that might tip the scales to a better future, what would that be?
If I could get one idea through to people, it's that we have to move quickly now. We're not used to that. We're used to political problems that play out over decades and decades and decades. And we do a little bit on them and come back and do a little more. And so on. That's just how they go. But in this case, we're asking physics to compromise with us. And that's not going to work. The scientists have told us that we have to get this done inside a decade or two. And if we don't win soon, then we don't ever win, which is why it seems so important for people to treat this right now as the emergency that it is. And it's why, we keep doing all that we do, working as hard as we can, going to jail when we have to, on and on and on, because that's what you do in an emergency. At some level, it's a burden for anyone to be alive in one of those moments of emergency because you're called on to do things. But on the other hand, it's an extraordinary privilege to get to be alive in moments when the actions that you're taking, and Dogwood exemplifies this, have extraordinary leverage when what you do or don't do will be decisive in how the story of the earth comes out. People will be able to read how well we do our jobs in the geological record of the planet for the next many millions of years. We're at one of those rare periods in Earth history. And this time it's up to us to get it right. So I hope that all your colleagues stop for a moment in the midst of all the crucial things they're doing and just reflect on how much good they've already done. We're extraordinarily grateful, all of us, no matter what part of the world we live in, for the work you're doing down there. And God bless you.
Thank you so much. It definitely takes a movement. All of us working our passions and our interests and our intellect in the same direction. And you've been a big part of inspiring that kind of a movement, Bill. So thank you too.
Many thanks, friend. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.